It has been 5 years since the COVID-19 pandemic changed life forever in America and around the world. Millions of lives were taken because of the virus. Restaurants, businesses, and schools shut down. Offices went vacant as more adopted virtual work. 5 years ago today in Michigan, hair salons, similar services all shut down just days before the first stay-at-home order was issued. As ABC 12 covered the coronavirus crisis, we spoke at length with this man, Flint area physician Dr. Bobby Mukkamala, about life with the virus. He joins us in today's First at 4 Focus to review the last 5 years and what we've learned. And Bobby, it's so good to see you.
Oh, it's good to be here.
We've got lots to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about COVID-19.
Sure.
Take us back to what you were thinking as a physician when this was happening. What do you remember most?
Well, it was a shock. It was the first time in my lifetime that we were going to shut down everything because we weren't so aware of what the disease could do, and we were concerned because we got a head start from around the world. And so the goal was to sort of perhaps even overestimate what the possibilities are and shut down everything. And Michigan was one of the early states. I mean, so it was like New York and Michigan had some of the spikes in the early cases. And when the hospitals are filling up, you just don't want to run out of the ability to take care of patients, right? And so running out of IVs and ventilators and masks to prevent the disease itself, it was just something that was totally new for an entire generation.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's what it took some getting used to, and the response in this country was, let's just shut everything down, prevent the hospitals from getting full, and work on vaccination. And now that we look back on it, there's some science to support other approaches, and other countries have done other things, and the goal is, I think, to learn from that science, just like it always is.
That's what we've done in a way through that period. We've learned about how we handled it, what worked, what didn't.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Any thoughts on that? What say what didn't work?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to come to a conclusion without research. But you know, we lost 1 million lives in this country. The question is, you know, if we did it like some other countries did, smaller countries, more uniform countries, and said, you know what, let's let healthy people get exposed and then protect those that are at high risk, as opposed to get everybody in a shutdown environment, what would that have done? And it's just hard to say, okay, well, if Switzerland did that and had some reasonable numbers, is that going to be how the United States is, given that we're not Switzerland, right? Size-wise, diversity-wise, the climate-wise, they're so much different, that there's a lot of studies that need to happen and that have been happening to say, you know what, we do need to be protective versus we can open up and let certain people get infected. But science is where that comes in, right? And that's the key, and not social media theory, which was out there a lot too.
Yeah. Do you think we're ready for another pandemic? Possibly. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But do you think we're better ready now?
You know, I think science-wise, we know what an mRNA vaccine is capable of. You know, we used to think that it's just like any vaccine. You get it like the measles vaccine, right? That's protecting us literally right now from getting measles. You get one, and you're pretty much protected from getting the disease. Well, it turns out mRNA vaccines aren't like that, right? Like, we got vaccinated, and we still got COVID. We didn't die as much as those that didn't get vaccinated. But it was something that protected us to some extent, but you could still get infected. So we're learning in that way. And I think that's part of what will help us. But the other part that won't help us is when science moves to the social sector, right? And people become scientists based on something that they read in a social media app versus in a white paper of science that looks at 1,000 people one way and 1,000 people another way and comes to a conclusion. When those two things mix, I think we end up getting hurt and not helped.
Yeah. Dr. Bobby, we got to shift gears a little bit because we got to talk about what you've been through. You had a brain tumor. And let me just tell you, you look like $1 million. I mean, seriously.
Well, it's a good thing the camera's coming this way, because this is where they cut my head. But thank you.
Do you agree? How are you?
I'm alive. It's amazing to be vertical and not horizontal. And you know, this was in December, so right before Christmas is when I had my surgery on Friday the 13th. And I was for a second, I was like, maybe I should wait for a different day instead of Friday the 13th. But that's what we did at the Mayo Clinic, and they did an amazing job. Came home literally 5 days later. I flew home and recovered for about 6 weeks at home, where I wasn't able to see patients and everything was kind of backing up. But it was good healing opportunity. And thankfully, the final pathology came back that while it is brain cancer, an astrocytoma, it's a grade 2 astrocytoma, not grade 3 or 4. Difference being a 10-month life expectancy, but mine is 10 plus years.
10 plus
years.
Years.
So I'm on treatment for that, and I've learned a lot about the treatment of things. And you know, for example, the NIH funding, the National Institute of Health, they significantly funded Duke University to do the research that discovered the pill that I take to keep my cancer from growing.
Oh my goodness.
And they discovered it 3 months before I needed it.
Yeah.
After a decade of research. And so it's amazing.
I've got to talk to you, President-elect of the American Medical Association.
Yeah.
This happened just before this, right?
Yeah, this was the summer before December that I had my diagnosis, and the inauguration is just in a couple of months in June in Chicago.
And
become president,
Supposed
yes.
to become president.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, what a story, Dr. Bobby. It's like I said, you look like you're doing great, and thanks.
Thank you. No, it's wonderful to be leading healthcare in this country on behalf of physicians with the most recent history of being a patient. Right. So all of us that are presidents have been doctors for decades, but now to be a patient in the 6 months before inauguration, to give me that perspective, in addition to delivering care, receiving care, will be wonderful preparation for this, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. What's next for you?
Well, so after the AMA, I don't know. I mean, that goes from a year of being on the road for 200 days, traveling the country and if not the world to help healthcare. But after that, I've got a plan, and I guess the sneak preview of that plan is I'm concerned about the education in the Flint community, right? The fact that if you want to go to college, there's a 4% chance of being prepared for college. And so I'd like to become a teacher. So I'll probably clean out earwax in the morning and then teach about earwax in the afternoons in science in our local high school.
Dr. Bobby, just great seeing you.
Thank you very much. Great to be here. Great to be here.
Being here.